starts right now.
Now, thousands of migrants being sent from the south to northern cities. At least one Republican governor is now under investigation for the legality of it all. I'm Alex Brachet in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we're at 77 degrees right now. Not too bad. It got pretty hot yesterday afternoon.
It really did. Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, September 20th, and we are back to genuine summer temperatures around here in South Texas.
Yeah, just in case you were missing them, we have another week of it, to go through.
I don't know anybody that was missing it, but it is our absolute reality. Justin is in for Mike and joins us with a look ahead to our Tuesday. More of the same, Justin?
Pretty much. You know me. I like the heat. But even I'm over it, okay? We do need some changes. There are some changes, but we got to wait until probably next week before that happens. So we're going to deal with a lot more heat and potentially some records coming up. Temperatures get that warm. Weather headlines. We can see some of the clouds rolling in this morning. We're going to start off mostly cloudy. We know the drill. Heat index likely tops 100 today, especially during those afternoon hours. There's enough humidity there. And then as we head towards the end of the week, we're going to get very, very close to hitting 100. Could we finally break that record? Again, not necessarily a record we want to break, but we could be due for that if temperatures do get up to 100, and I think that's possible. Cold front, it's scheduled for Monday. That is our change. But we've got to wait a while before it gets here. And it's not a big cold front. It does cool us down a little, though, I think, early next week. 78 degrees right now. Dew point is all the way up at 74, so it feels like 81 at this hour. And temperatures are in the 70s area-wide. This is not a surprise with that much humidity and some cloud cover. That's going to keep temperatures up this morning. So we're thinking mid-70s here in San Antonio. That's as low as we'll go. KSAT 12-hour forecast, 77 at 8 o'clock. By noontime, we're at 88, and that high temperature today right where it was yesterday, around 96. More on the rest of this forecast, plus the latest on Fiona coming up in just a bit, guys.
Justin, thank you. An investigation now being launched into actions by Florida's governor who took credit for flying migrants north to a Democratic city.
And there is a Bexar County connection. ABC's Alex Brachet has more.
This morning, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis under investigation by a sheriff in Texas after DeSantis took credit for flying a group of Venezuelan migrants to Martha's Vineyard.
We're going to discover to what extent the law can hold these people accountable.
Bexar County's Democratic sheriff says he believes there's a high probability that laws were broken.
Our understanding is that a Venezuelan migrant was paid what we would call a bird dog fee to recruit approximately 50 migrants. 48 migrants were lured. At a certain point, they were shuttled to an airplane where they were flown to Florida and then eventually flown to Martha's Vineyard.
DeSantis' office fired back on Twitter overnight, writing, "Immigrants are more than willing to leave Bexar County after being enticed to cross the border and to fend for themselves. Florida provided an opportunity in a sanctuary state with resource, as expected." But attorneys for these migrants are also calling for an investigation, pointing to brochures given out that they say are misleading because the information inside was meant for refugees, not migrants. Community service workers in Massachusetts are now rushing to find long-term support for these migrants. But DeSantis isn't the only Republican governor sending migrants elsewhere. Texas Governor Greg Abbott's office says he sent some 11,000 migrants from Texas to Chicago, New York, and Washington. New numbers from Customs and Border Protection show migrant apprehensions have now topped 2 million so far this fiscal year. D.C.'s Mayor Muriel Bowser is now warning other cities across the country to get prepared.
This is a national issue, and the nation's mayors need to be prepared with a response.
There's also frustration from states about the federal response. Massachusetts Republican governor is saying that he is urging both Democrats and Republicans in Washington to implement some sort of meaningful immigration reform, saying that he doesn't think it's any secret that the system is broken. Alex Brachet, ABC News, Washington.
And a man accused of threatening to take out coaches at an unnamed school and finish a job at Central Catholic High School is now in jail. 25-year-old Hayden Kuamara is facing a terroristic threat charge, according to the arrest affidavit. The suspect showed a witness photos of guns and claimed to have a gun in his car. The affidavit also says he was going to get a tattoo of tally marks for every killing. The report also says someone at the school was on his hit list because they sexually assaulted his ex-girlfriend. Police were able to contact that person and positively identify the suspect through a witness statement. Now, the president of Central Catholic High School released a statement to parents and staff. It said in part, quote, "We increased our perimeter fencing and gate systems over the summer while also adding to our existing camera system. Also, as part of our plan, we will be adding uniformed officers on campus for the foreseeable future," end quote.
This morning, law enforcement are investigating a shooting at the Tri-State Fair and Rodeo out in Amarillo. The Potter County Sheriff says just before 11 last night, a man opened fire on deputies working off duty at the fair. The sheriff says one of the deputies and an off-duty firefighter who was also working there were shot. A bystander was also shot. Deputies returned fire, shooting the suspect. The deputy, a firefighter, and bystander were transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The sheriff says the suspect was taken to a hospital with life-threatening injuries.
Hurricane Fiona, now a Category 3 storm as it turns towards the Turks and Caicos Islands. The intensifying storm has already dropped heavy rain over the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, where a 58-year-old man died after police said he was swept away by a river. The National Guard has rescued more than 900 people as floodwaters continue to rush through towns in eastern and southern Puerto Rico. Up to 30 inches of rain was forecasted for some areas. And as of last night, authorities said they had restored power to more than 114,000 customers on the island of about 3 million people.
A Russian missile has blasted a crater close to a nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine, damaging nearby industrial equipment, but not hitting its 3 reactors. Ukrainian authorities have denounced the move as an act of nuclear terrorism. The proximity of the strike renewed fears that the war in Ukraine might produce a radiation disaster. Throughout the war, Russia has targeted Ukraine's electricity generation and transmission equipment, causing blackouts and endangering the safety systems of the country's nuclear power plants.
And time now is 4:36 and 77 degrees for now.
If you're one of the millions of people that use TikTok, we have some settings you need to be aware of that can protect your privacy.
And UTSA football gets ready for its next challenge after putting on a good performance against Texas this past weekend.
Checking traffic at the early morning commute here on Tuesday. 35 at Salado Creek. A few flashing lights there. Do some construction. 410 at Highway 151. And there's 35 at 1604. No accidents that I see right now.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we're calm right now at 77 degrees, but it will heat up again. It's going to feel like summer in the 90s. We'll be right back.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys still enjoying their last second victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. And while Cooper Rush is undefeated as starter at 2-0, he needed a lot of help from his defense to get the ball back for the game-winning drive. Micah Parsons is a sack machine with 2 of the Cowboys' 6 sacks on Cincy. Then Trayvon Diggs stepped up big time to keep the Bengals from picking up a first down, and Dallas needed a stop. Next up, Giants in New York on Monday Night Football, live right here on KSAT 12. As the UTSA Roadrunners prepare for Texas Southern this Saturday at the Alamo Dome, they're reflecting on their performance against the Texas Longhorns last Saturday night. Played before their largest crowd ever, over 102,000 fans on hand to see this one. 3rd largest crowd in DKR history, and at one point led the Horns by 10 points, 17-7. Roadrunners obviously fell short, but what an effort.
On that play, I'm just hoping Zakari's a dude. That's the thing. On that one, they say if anything's there, let it fly, and that's what I did. We practiced that, we work on it, something that we have in our gadgets. But you know, it wasn't the best throw, but it connected, and Zakari made a play, huge play. I'm proud of him. Made me look good.
Now they have injury issues on their offensive line they'll have to work on before hosting Texas Southern at 2:30 Saturday at the Dome. UT survived UTSA thanks partly to the performance of Heisman Trophy candidate Bijan Robinson. He came up with a career-long touchdown of 78 yards to open up the second half to finish with 20 carries for 183 yards and a total of 3 touchdowns. Now they have to get ready to face Texas Tech in Lubbock this Saturday to open play in the Big 12.
For Steel, the Night Nation, I present to you the first annual KSAT Pigskin Classic 2022 trophy football for your championship. Congratulations.
We made the rounds Monday to pass out hardware for the winners in the first ever KSAT Pigskin Classic 2022. We were up early to hand the Steel Knights their trophy football. It's after their incredible comeback victory against Brennan in the final game of our triple header. Steel's also preparing to put their undefeated record on the line Friday night against Fort Bend Christian before they kick off district play. It's after they've been able to start their season at 4-0, the most recent victory on the road in Midland against victory against Legacy. The team did not get back home until 5 a.m. Now they have to regroup quickly. Kickoff set for 7 o'clock at Linhoff Stadium coming up this Friday night. That's a look at morning sports.
And time now is 4:43 and 77 degrees for now. TikTok users may be sharing information without them even knowing it. What you need to consider about privacy and how to keep it protected.
And a first look at a never-before-seen evidence. A woman accused of faking her own kidnapping and lying about it.
And welcome back. It's 4:45. Sherri Papini, who was accused of faking her own kidnapping and lied about it, was sentenced to prison. ABC's Matt Gutman has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, the woman behind the 2016 Thanksgiving Day miracle hoax, now heading to prison. Sherri Papini, that California mom who pleaded guilty to lying to authorities about being kidnapped and tortured, was sentenced to 18 months Monday, and now we're learning how her hoax slammed to a grinding halt in August of 2020.
We have everything that says that he said he told the truth.
In video obtained exclusively by ABC News, Shasta County Sheriff's investigators confront the woman they'd tenderly treated as a victim for nearly 4 years. And coming up live at 7 a.m., we'll show you more of the never-before-seen evidence. Plus, legal expert Dan Abrams weighs in with your GMA First Look. I'm Matt Gutman, ABC News, Sacramento.
TikTok can be a fun and entertaining app for many, but what personal info are you or your kids sharing with TikTok and not even know it?
12 on your sides, Marilyn Moore shows us which settings you need to adjust to protect your privacy.
TikTok. It's free to watch the videos, but there is a trade-off, your information. So if you want to protect your privacy, open the settings and start with who can see your profile.
So setting your whole TikTok account to private is a great way to get a little bit more control over who can see the stuff on your profile.
TikTok makes its money through advertising, just like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Something that's really valuable for tech companies is building out a huge network of everyone that you know, your friends, your family, your coworkers, and they present it as a way for you to find your acquaintances on TikTok, which can be great, but it also gives the tech companies a lot of information about you, and you might not want to do that.
To deny the app access to your contacts or Facebook friends, toggle those settings off. You can also tell TikTok not to suggest your account to others. That's if you're not interested in having followers. TikTok uses more than just information about your friends and family for targeted ads.
So you might not realize it, but TikTok has code spread all over the internet on websites and apps to collect data about things you do when you're not on TikTok.
You can't stop that entirely, but you can use a setting to control whether TikTok can use that data for targeted ads. These tools help, but you can never expect total privacy when using social media.
Of course, you want to keep the hackers out of your TikTok account, so one of the best things you can do is set up multi-factor authentication. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide, looking at Highway 281 and Grayson. Things are quiet, but they are moving. And there's a look at Loop 1604 and Petranco. I just saw flashing lights, though. As
well, just right.
Yeah, I know.
That's the way it goes with live TV, right?
I know. It's couples. We'll check on that later.
Just enjoyed just now. You know, August was pretty gentle around here, temperature-wise. It's almost like Mother Nature's decided to play a little catch-up.
It feels that way, yes. August was nice. It was like a little bit of a break. And now it feels like we reverted right back to where we were. We were digging out of that hole with the drought. We were seeing some cooler temperatures. Well, September hasn't been so nice. Just look at the temperatures yesterday. 96 here in San Antonio, 97 Hondo, 97 Carrizo Springs, 98 in Cotulla. And I'm sorry to say the temperatures may actually go up from there. We're going to see some hotter days ahead, I'm afraid. And right now we're looking at 78 degrees, mostly cloudy. Dew point, though, an important number today. It's at 74. South-southeasterly winds at about 6. The dew point does fall off a little bit this afternoon, but like yesterday, still high enough to create a heat index, and we could see that heat index close in on 100 this afternoon. 74 right now in Kerrville, 77 in Hondo. Most locations here in Bexar County are in the mid to upper 70s this morning, and it probably will only cool down a degree or two more before it's all said and done. So mostly cloudy to start, and then by noontime, we're looking at mostly sunny skies, 88, and mostly sunny during the afternoon. We top out close to 95, but that will translate to a heat index close to 100, as I said. And that is in the very high category. This is that time of year where you got to be careful because you kind of let your guard down. You're thinking, oh, it's September. We aren't going to see temperatures like that, but we certainly are today. And the heat index could be pretty similar to that tomorrow. Now, here's the good news when it comes to the dew points. Yeah, they'll be in the 60s today. I think by tomorrow, dew points during the afternoon at least will be in the upper 50s. And then they really drop off Thursday, Friday. Now, one thing that does do is when you have lower dew points, you tend to have higher air temperatures. So that's why Thursday, Friday, I should say, we can get some near record heat. Moisture tries to return a little bit over the weekend, but a front slides through Monday. And thankfully, that does dry us out. So it'll still be warm on Monday, but we'll see some great evenings and mornings, hopefully, next week. Here's the big picture. It is still extremely quiet across the middle part of the country. Not much there with our ridge of high pressure in place. And here's the latest on Fiona. It's a Cat 3 storm. It's a major hurricane now. Winds are at 115, gusting to 140. And this thing moves north and becomes a Category 4 storm, and it moves near Bermuda as it is looking at winds at 130 miles per hour. So this is going to be a powerful storm. It will have some impacts on Bermuda, then eventually moving north and weakening as it moves towards Newfoundland a little bit later this week. Meantime, elsewhere in the tropics, we have a couple of areas that we're watching, and this is an area south of Fiona that this wave has a chance of development. Right now, just a 40% chance, but I think we need to watch this as it moves into the Caribbean. We'll certainly keep eyes on it in the coming days. As far as the forecast goes, high pressure still in control. Look at these highs on Friday. 100 in Austin potentially. Right now, we're forecasting 99 here in San Antonio, both Thursday and Friday. Beyond that, high pressure finally scoots out of the way, and there's that front I was talking about, but it does not arrive until Monday. So here's how it looks in the 7-day forecast. 97 Wednesday, 99 Thursday. Friday could be a record-setting day with 99 degrees. I feel bad for the football players Friday night. That is not going to be fun, nor for the fans in the stands. This weekend's still hot too, but cool down there Monday, 90. Not a lot of rain with that front, but at least it cools us down and dries us out.
What the heck, Justin?
I know.
Man.
I just sent out the push alert on the phone, and people, if they're up, they're looking at it and saying,
no.
Man, I hate this guy. What is he talking about?
Not you.
Well,
Not
I
you.
know. I get it, but I feel the same way.
Just the messenger.
Yes.
And of course, that front does look nice. We'll take a 10-degree drop, right?
Yes, for sure.
Looking forward to that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Justin. We still love you. 453, 78 degrees.
It's a big week for Harry Styles in theaters. Plus, we're going to tell you about Hulu reviving a popular sitcom series.
5 till, Hulu reviving a popular sitcom, and it's a big week for Harry Styles.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
Are you serious? A streaming service decides to bring back a once popular sitcom. It happens all the time now, and the concept is about to be skewered in the new Hulu comedy Reboot. It's from Modern Family co-creator Steve Levitan, who tells me the idea came from real life.
Towards the end of Modern Family, a couple years before it ended, is when that whole Roseanne debacle happened, when their reboot kind of blew up because Roseanne got in trouble. And I just remember thinking to myself, well, that's the show I want to see.
The cast includes Paul Reiser, Rachel Bloom, Johnny Knoxville, Judy Greer, and Keegan-Michael Key. The first 2 episodes out today on Hulu. Nice. A big week for Harry Styles. His new film, Don't Worry, Darling, hits theaters this weekend. And his song, As It Was, is once again #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. It's 14th week on top. That's the 4th longest running #1 in the chart's 64-year history. And it's tied for the most weeks at #1 by a solo artist. Woody Allen not retiring, his rep walking back a report in a Spanish publication over the weekend that said the controversial filmmaker was hanging up his camera after his upcoming 50th film. The rep says that's not exactly accurate, though the 86-year-old is thinking about not making any more movies. And break out the birthday dragons. Game of Thrones creator George R.R. Martin is 74 today, while legendary actress Sophia Loren is 88. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And time now, 4:57 and 77 degrees for now.
The UK and the world bid a final farewell to Queen Elizabeth. What is next for the monarchy moving forward?
And last night, the Uvalde CISD school board met for their monthly meeting. We're going to tell you about the call by parents to investigate all police officers with the school.
Checking TransGuide right now. No problems at 281 and Jones Maltzberger. We'll get a live update with Stephen Cavazos after this break.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Queen Elizabeth II has now been laid to rest. I'm Inez de la Cuetara in London, and I'll have all the details coming up.
And here at home, we're at 77 degrees and expecting another warm day, and we're expecting it to heat up even more by the end of the week.
And good morning to you. It is Tuesday, September 20th.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a wonderful Monday. It got pretty hot in the afternoon, and it will continue to do that.
We have to get back into a summer temperature frame of mind, Justin Horn.
For sure. AC's on full blast. That's going to be the situation most of this week. Kids probably aren't quite up yet, but if getting plans this morning, getting them ready for the bus stop, it's T-shirts and shorts. There's no question about that. Temperatures this morning start off in the 70s. It'll be fairly humid, mostly cloudy. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then after school, 94. The heat index is going to be near 100. So after school sports and activities, plenty of water. That is a necessity today with the way temperatures are going to shape up. Just like yesterday, we're going to be in the mid to upper 90s. Temperatures right now, 75 in New Braunfels, 75 Gonzales, 77 in Carrizo Springs, 77 in Del Rio. So pretty uniform around the area, and that is the case here in Bexar County, upper 70s for the most part. Randolph is down to 73, but that's one of the cool spots here on the map. Pollen count yesterday, pigweed jumped to the top of the list. It's moderate at 100. Molds, ragweed, grass, all low. We'll see where we land today. That pollen count comes in here in a couple of hours. And the forecast for today, we'll go 77, 8 o'clock. Some clouds early, and then we get mostly sunny skies this afternoon. It'll be 88 by lunchtime, and then your high temperature, as we said, in the mid-90s with the southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Are you hoping for some relief? I think we all are. Next week is when we see an actual front. Now, it's not going to be a big front, but it does cool us down some. We'll explain here in just a little bit, but let's get over to Stephen now because it looks like we've got some flashing lights out there.
Yeah, no relief here, though, Justin, off US 90 at Couples. Let's go ahead and get a wider look at TransGuide. Minutes ago, I just got off the phone with our friends over there. We are looking at a crash, and here's why it's a big problem, because this is actually in the eastbound lanes of US 90. And early this morning, we typically already start to see traffic building, and that's pretty evident with what we're seeing there on the TransGuide camera. You have to watch out carefully. Although it is busy and we see those street lights on, it is still very dark out there, and first responders tend to get out of their vehicles to inspect these crash scenes. So let's make sure that we give them plenty of room. No information right now, but as always, we hope everyone's doing okay. Let's take you to the map because that's in the eastbound lanes of US 90. And as I mentioned, it's a pretty busy spot, but thankfully we're not seeing a buildup just yet in those areas where we see the traffic flowing in the eastbound lanes, but a spot that you want to watch carefully throughout the morning. Now, let's go ahead and give you a quick look at the map there. There's the full view where you can see 35. We're seeing a little bit of a buildup, but that's likely due to some road work that's taking place, that has been taking place overnight. So watch out for those crews there. I'll be sure to get some information up for you in just a minute, but let's check out those travel times because as I mentioned, US 90 is where that crash has been reported in the eastbound lanes, but thankfully it's going to be about 30 minutes at this hour. So there is some relief out there, but 28 minutes right now if you're traveling on I-37 northbound heading in from Pleasanton, and that arrival from Lytle on I-35 northbound looks to be about 17 minutes. But again, an area that we will watch closely throughout the morning is here, US 90 at Couples. We'll give you those updates coming up in the next few minutes. Mark, stuff.
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, San Antonio police looking for a suspect. They say shot a man overnight. Happened around 1 a.m. in the 500 block of South Acme near Old Highway 90 on the west side. The man was taken to a hospital. So far, there's no word on the victim's condition or what led up to that shooting. SAPD says the suspect got away before officers could arrive on scene.
The flights that carried migrants from San Antonio to Massachusetts are now part of a criminal investigation. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar wants to know who promised the migrants work and, quote, lured them onto flights out of state. This also comes as the League of Latin American Citizens, or LULAC, is offering a $5,000 reward for information on a woman named Perla. They say she is promising migrants work, money, and other incentives if they sign a form stating they voluntarily want to go to a different location.
Well, and Migrant was paid what we would call a bird dog fee to recruit approximately 50 migrants from the area around a migrant resource center on San Pedro.
And if you have more information on LULAC's reward, you can look over to our website at KSAT.com.
Well, school in Uvalde has been back in session for nearly 2 weeks. Last night, the school board met for their monthly meeting.
And as Lee Wallman reports, the meeting started with calls for more accountability from the school district.
Our babies died. They were massacred. And y'all still let those same SOBs walk around that didn't.
Echoes of continued pain at Monday's board meeting from families of the Robb Elementary shooting. Brett Cross and Berlinda Ariola calling out the UCISD school board to investigate all police officers with the school and to better protect current students.
I keep telling y'all, this is like the third or fourth time that I keep coming and telling y'all that about the security. And all I hear is, we'll look into it. We'll make sure, we'll look into it. We're not going to look into it when it happens again.
After the open forum, the focus shifted toward the future. Huckabee, a Texas architecture firm focused on designing schools, presented a plan to build a new elementary school in Uvalde.
Making sure that we understand what the community's expectations and goals are for this project and make sure that we encompass that in the design.
Jeff Rodriguez and Carrie Brandy presented 3 site options for the new campus and laid out the timeline for the project. There will be a community advisory committee that will be made up of school officials, teachers, parents, a Uvalde PD representative, and business owners. Brady and Rodriguez estimate construction will be done in October of 2024.
At that phase, the school could then be furnished with FF&E as furniture, fixture, and equipment, and then we could then determine when the first day of school would be.
Monday night, the board met behind closed doors to discuss personnel matters. When they reconvened, no action was taken and no further details were given. In Uvalde, Lee Waldman for GMSA.
Thank you, Lee. 5:07, Queen Elizabeth II has now been laid to rest. An estimated 1 million mourners lined the streets of London to see the royal funeral.
President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden are back stateside after joining hundreds of heads of states and dignitaries at the ceremony. ABC's Inez de la Cuetera is in London with the latest.
Overnight, the world bidding Queen Elizabeth II one final farewell. The Queen laid to rest at Windsor Castle in a private ceremony next to her late husband, Philip. The day starting with a grand state funeral, the likes of which Britain had not seen in nearly 6 decades. Her flag-draped coffin brought to Westminster Abbey on a gun carriage, topped with the imperial crown, scepter, and orb, along with a wreath and handwritten note from the Queen's son, quote, "In loving and devoted memory, Charles R." Inside, about 2,000 mourners, including President Biden.
She was joyful, present to so many, touching a multitude of lives.
Outside, hundreds of thousands lining the streets to catch a glimpse of the funeral procession. Members from every branch of the military marching through central London with the Queen's coffin, royal family members following every step.
It was incredible, the sort of solemnity of watching all of the, the pageantry.
At Wellington Arch, the Queen's coffin transferred into a hearse and brought to Windsor Castle. The coffin arriving to a gun salute, then carried inside. Her imperial state crown, scepter, and orb put back on velvet pillows, signaling the end of her reign. The king's eyes welling with tears, while a choir sang, "God Save the King," a son stepping up, and a new era for Britain.
It's really sad, but we have had a week as a nation to adjust to this.
And the next big royal event of this magnitude will be the King's coronation. British newspapers reporting that will take place in the spring or summer, following a period of mourning for the Queen. Inez de la Cuetera, ABC News, London.
Back here in San Antonio, 509, 77 degrees.
The new iPhone 14 Pro has the camera shake problem. What Apple is doing to fix it.
And as more families with children face homelessness, how a local organization is helping to provide mental support for those that need it the most.
And taking a look outside with a live cam, some clouds for now. Yesterday it got pretty hot and we're looking for it to get even hotter by the end of this week. We'll be checking in with Justin very soon.
5:13 on your Tuesday morning. Welcome back. Haven for Hope is focused on providing mental health focused training to its staff and its clients.
With more families with children facing homelessness, they say stress is something everyone is trained to look out for. Haven for Hope has more than 180 community partners, many of which can provide mental support for its clients. Barriers are often things like stigma, cost, and the wait time to be seen. Staff also receives extra care since they deal with a lot of heavy trauma.
Well, I think you're seeing the stress, the multi-generational stress from the parents not being able to afford rent, from children being out of school for years, from the instability from families sleeping on different couches, bouncing from hotels to hotels.
Haven for Hope also has a suicide prevention training and mental health days that clients and their staff can take at any time. If you need someone to talk to, 988 is the National Suicide Prevention and Crisis Lifeline.
5:14, 77 degrees.
What video game publisher Rockstar Games is saying about a massive leak that shows off early gameplay footage of its latest Grand Theft Auto game.
Instacart launches connected stores. We'll show you how they work. We'll show you how the new in-store tech works.
It takes energy to take on the world. So whether you're breaking a sweat, breaking down barriers, or breaking the laws of gravity, keep moving with the ultimate energy bar. We bake in delicious, wholesome ingredients, purposefully crafted with a blend of protein, fat, and carbs. Because the more good you put in, the more great you get out. Cliff, baked in goodness. Now introducing Cliff Thins, a crispy, craveable 100-calorie snack.
When you really need to sleep, you reach for the really good stuff. ZQL Ultra helps you sleep better and longer when you need it most. It's non-habit forming and powered by the makers of NyQuil. ZQL Ultra, when you really, really need to sleep.
Is that I don't belong to you and you don't belong to me. Hey, freedom, freedom.
Freedom doesn't wait. Libre, the original eau de parfum and the new parfum Yves Saint Laurent.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple's apparent issue with the new iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. Some users say their phone is buzzing and shaking while using camera apps like TikTok and Instagram. Apple says it's aware of the problem and a fix will be released next week. The Grand Theft Auto leak appears to be real. Video game publisher Rockstar Games has confirmed the images, saying they appeared as the result of a network intrusion by an unauthorized third party. Instacart is launching a set of tools aimed at creating a personalized shopping experience both online and in-store. It's called Connected Stores, includes a scan and pay option, light up tags to help shoppers locate specific items, and a new version of AI-powered carts. I bet shopping carts with artificial intelligence must have so much shelf awareness. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Interesting.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning. 5:18 right now.
That's right. I was looking at the TransGuide cameras. It looks okay, but let's go ahead and check with Stephen Cavazos.
Yeah, let's just glide right on past that. All right, guys. Well, guess what? Traffic is gliding by here without any problems, so that's some good news. But still, be on the lookout. 410 at State Highway 151. We're starting to see a few more vehicles get on the roadways, so the roads are going to be a little bit busier in the next few minutes or so. But I'd say right now, you're pretty much in the clear. Let's give you a quick look around town there, because 410 is not the only spot where we're seeing some easy traffic there at 37 at Houston. It's not too bad in Fredericksburg. You can see, though, the commute is just getting a little bit busier as we're inching closer and closer to 6 a.m. But I do have better news to report. That crash we talked about here off US 90 eastbound at Zarzamora, that just cleared out from the TransGuide cameras. So it looks like those first responders were able to clear up this situation without any real big problems in terms of the delays. But still, just make sure anytime you see those flashing lights, move over, slow down. Let's talk about what we're also seeing over here off I-35 over over on the northeast side. Now, subsurface exploration work, that is quite the project that we're seeing taking place there. But crews are basically going out there to inspect the area to see what project designs needed to take place. Of course, this isn't another busy spot, but it is current until Saturday, September 24th, according to TxDOT. It does start at 9 in the evening and should wrap at 5 in the morning. So hopefully those crews out there will be wrapping pretty soon. But here's what you can expect. A right shoulder closure on I-35 northbound, the connector ramp there from IKEA to RBFCU Parkway to I-35 northbound frontage road. Now that's a lot of information, but if you want to see it in more detail, grab those phones now and open your camera app, scan that QR code that will take you directly to the KSAT traffic page. Has a full list of all the current closures that I just updated yesterday. So head over there, plan that commute ahead of time. Guys.
Thanks for the heads up, Stephen. I wonder if people driving by IKEA RBFCU that exit try to translate what all that is. They may know, IKEA, but if they're new to the area, they're like, what is the other?
Yeah, it's a landmark spot.
It's a lot of, yes.
Yeah, haven't been to one IKEA in a while, though.
I know, I haven't either.
5:20. Thank you, Stephen. Justin is here, standing by with our forecasts.
And one of the questions I get all the time when I'm out and about, when is it going to cool down? Basically, we get that almost every day, and that is a great question. I think by next week we'll get a little bit of a cool down, but it's not going to be the cool down you're probably looking for. As far as that first big front, still not in the forecast. And this week, man, it is looking hot. 78 degrees right now, 77 Stinson, 75 Kelly, 73 in Randolph. There's not much wind out there. Everything's pretty light. 73 Kerrville, 73 Rock Springs, still 77 in Del Rio, so no cool down there. Same for Hondo. And we're in the mid to upper 70s here around Bexar County. It's a sticky morning, too. Dew points are in the mid 70s. That puts us in the oppressive category. These numbers come down some this afternoon, but not enough. Not enough because the heat index is going to climb to near 100 later today. So with a high temperature right around 96, that translates to 100. And that gets into that danger territory. And it's not just here in San Antonio. It's all across South Texas. You're going to see heat indices like that. Dew point trend. Well, this graph is not correct. But what I can tell you is that the dew points do fall off this week a little bit by the afternoons. And so it gets a little bit drier as we head into Thursday and Friday. Now, the bad thing to that is that we'll see that the air temperatures start to jump up. And you'll see higher temperatures probably Thursday and Friday as far as the air temperatures go. We could be close to 100. As we look at the tropics, we've got Hurricane Fiona, of course, that is headed north. This is a major hurricane. It's going to head towards Bermuda and kick up some surf on the East Coast, but thankfully no direct landfall, at least we don't think so, with Hurricane Fiona. But we do want to point out there's a couple of other areas that we need to watch. This one down here, this wave, likely moves into the Caribbean. There's about a 40% chance of development over the next 5 days. It would be slow. But I do think it bears some watching because once it gets into the Caribbean, there could be some development there. And from there, there's still some questions as to where that would go. Gaston would be the next named storm, by the way, if we were to get another one. It's been slow this year, but starting to pick up a little bit as we head into the latter part of hurricane season. As far as our forecast goes, our ridge-high pressure, the summer heat high sits over us, and by Friday, 99 here in San Antonio, 100 in Austin. Most of Texas is going to be baking. These are well above average, if not close to some records. We'll be seeing that both Thursday and Friday before this high finally moves out of the way. So slightly cooler this weekend, but it's not until Monday that we get some really drier and cooler air. And again, it's not a huge cool down, but we will see numbers drop a little bit. And a quick reminder, we're at 58 100-degree days. We're just 1 day shy of setting the record set back in 2009. It could happen this week. It's possible. The latest we've ever seen a triple-digit day was on September 28th back in 2005. We're going 99 again Thursday, Friday. So, yeah, it's possible. Hot this weekend. There's that front we mentioned on Monday.
Going for gold.
Oh.
We are. I mean, might as well just get it out of the way, right?
That's true.
Be done with it.
Break the record. All right, we can handle it, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin.
5:23, still 77 degrees.
And next in your morning spotlight, Keanu Reeves may star in another Constantine movie, and Patton Oswalt talks about his latest comedy special.
5:26, popular actor reportedly returning to a supernatural role, and a comedian is taking to the director's chair.
CNN's David Daniel has details in today's Hollywood Minute.
What if I told you that God and the devil made a wager for the souls of all mankind? No direct contact with humans. That would be the rule. Just influence. See who would win.
A Constantine sequel appears to finally be in the works. Keanu Reeves and director Francis Lawrence reportedly are both returning for the long-awaited follow-up to the 2005 fantasy horror thriller about supernatural exorcist and demonologist John Constantine, who finds himself at the center of the battle between good and evil.
When I was in my 20s, I would walk into propellers and put some Bactine on it. I was fine. And now if a pine cone falls near me, my spine implodes.
Patton Oswalt makes his directorial debut with his latest comedy special, We All Scream, in which he once again mines pain for laughs.
When things go wrong, I will try to fast forward to what will be the funny story that I'll tell about this later. And that helps me get through the now. I mean, it does mean that sometimes I don't live in the now as much as I should. But a lot of times when people criticize people for that, you're not living in the now. But a lot of times the now sucks. So why not live in another time that's better?
Patton Oswalt, We All Scream premieres today on Netflix. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
528, 77 degrees.
A judge orders the release of a convicted murderer. What that court is saying about new evidence found in the case.
Plus, what a new study is revealing about the number of books being banned at schools across the U.S.
And if you're a fan of Healthy Choice frozen meals, what you need to know about a new recall.
A man who was the subject of a popular podcast is now out of prison. Why a judge vacated his murder conviction.
And taking a look outside with a live cam. Fall officially starts on Thursday, but we promise it's not going to feel like that here.
Good morning to you. It's Tuesday. It is September 20th. And yes, it's going to be hot around here for days to come, but we want to be focused on one of those cold fronts that is eventually going to head our way.
That's right. It's a little bit of good news maybe next week, Justin.
Yeah, Monday. Monday is the day we're looking at for that potential cool down, we'll call it. It's only 5, 6, 7 degrees difference, but it brings in some dry air, and I think it'll feel better. But we got to get through this week, and this week is looking pretty brutal at this point. I do want to show you the radar this morning. We've got a couple showers right along the coast. That's where they'll stay. If you remember yesterday, we saw rain in this area. It didn't make it further inland towards San Antonio, so expect a few showers if you're in Bevo, Cuero, Victoria, in those areas right along the coast. These will be those quick showers that won't put down all that much rain. That's the situation there along the coast. Here in San Antonio, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 70s, 78 degrees at the airport, 73 Randolph, 77 at Stinson, 73 up there in Bulverde. It's also very humid, so the heat index today is going to be up there around 100. Mostly cloudy this morning, 79 by 9 o'clock, noontime 88. We're in the mid-90s by 4 or 5 o'clock. In fact, 96, that's where we were yesterday. And again, heat index at that point, probably 99 to 100, just based on the dew points. We'll talk more about the heat. We've got an update on the tropics as well. That's coming up in just a bit. But we get over to Stephen now and get your morning commute started.
Yeah, it's off to a pretty busy one, Justin. Let's get a look here. This is off I-35 at State Highway 46 up toward New Braunfels. Now, just talk to our friends at TransGuide. This is actually taking place on the access road, but information is coming in from the New Braunfels Police Department, and I'll actually step out of the way because this is according to what they're posting on their Facebook page. What we're seeing right there is the intersection of Highway 46 at FM 1101, currently closed due to some police activity in the area, as you can see right there on the TransGuide camera. Now, according to police, they're saying that there is no active danger to the general public, so that's good news. But as far as injuries, no injuries are associated with this incident as well. Of course, this is going to cause some issues for drivers that may have to head up toward New Braunfels through State Highway 46. Right now, we're going to comb through some different solutions, but you can see there it's still dark and early, only a few vehicles making their way on by, and hopefully we'll get some information from the New Braunfels Police Department a little bit later. But right now, just avoid the area if you can and let them get the job done. Right now, have it pinpointed at State Highway 46 South at FM 1101. You can see a little bit of yellow already building up in the direction. We're going to watch it closely, but let's just go ahead and give you a view of the entire metro area. As you can see now, thankfully, more relief. We're seeing a lot of green out there, a lot of active construction, which we'll continue to tell you about throughout the morning. But just make sure that you're driving carefully, especially if your destination is the Alamos City. Now, while there are no delays just yet on I-35, it's already starting to pick up a little bit. 27 minutes to the downtown area from New Braunfels on the 35 southbound. 26 on 281 southbound heading in from Bulverde, and a 24-minute drive time on I-10 eastbound if you're traveling in from Bernie. So things look fine there, but as I mentioned, drive carefully if you're going to travel back through here at 35 at State Highway 46. You can see traffic's getting a little bit busier, but we'll watch things closely and have those updates right here on GMSA. Guys.
Thank you, sir. Adnan Syed is newly out of prison after a judge vacated his murder conviction yesterday.
He was the subject of the first season of the hit podcast Serial, and it's releasing a bonus episode on the case today. CNN's Amy Kiley explains the case.
This is a Global CalLink prepaid call from
Adnan Syed.
If you perked up at that music, you're probably a fan of the podcast Serial. If not, you might be wondering why the Adnan Syed case is getting so much attention.
We're not yet declaring Adnan Syed is innocent, but we are declaring that in the interest of fairness and justice, he is entitled to a new trial.
Syed was convicted of killing his one-time girlfriend Hae-Min Lee in 1999. They were in high school at the time. Syed was sentenced to life in prison, but has always maintained he's innocent. Serial's first season left many fans wondering if he'd gotten a fair trial. Baltimore prosecutors investigated, and last week they moved to vacate his conviction. They cited unreliable cell phone tower data used as evidence, advances in DNA testing, and information about other suspects the defense never received.
When prosecutors do not do their duty, when they do not disclose evidence as they are supposed to, the result can be that innocent people like Adnan lose decades of their lives for crimes they did not commit.
Yesterday, a judge vacated Syed's conviction and released him with an ankle monitor. During that hearing, the victim's brother said this case isn't just a podcast to him.
This family is interested in the pursuit of justice. They want to know more than anybody who it was that killed Hae-Min Lee.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
In other news this morning, more than 2,000 books have been banned in schools in the last school year. That's according to the literacy advocacy organization PEN America. The organization says they've identified 50 groups advocating for bans in kindergarten through 12th grade. The organization claims about 40% of the banned books have content involving LGBTQ or queer people. It also says 40% have people of color as the main characters, and 21% deal directly with racism. Within the past year, Governor Greg Abbott is among those telling state agencies to develop standards to block books with overtly sexual content in schools.
The Red Planet has caught the eye of NASA's newest space telescope. The James Webb Space Telescope captured these images of Mars, one of the brightest objects in Earth's night sky. Now, they are the telescope's first images of the fourth planet from the sun. The new images depict Mars's eastern hemisphere and showcase various Martian features like its dark volcanic rocks and two of its bigger impact craters. NASA believes Webb is in the perfect position to capture even more about Mars, including the planet's seasonal changes, dust storms, and weather.
Election day is nearly upon us. Are you registered to vote? The fourth Tuesday of September is National Voter Registration Day. The National Association of Secretaries of State started the event in 2012. It's a coordinated effort from local, state, and national organizations to urge people to get registered. Hundreds of thousands of people take part each year. Each state has different registration requirements. You can find out more about your area at vote.org.
And time now is 5:38 and about 77 degrees right now.
Bed Bath & Beyond announcing new store closures. We'll tell you how many in Texas are shutting down.
And how you can help those affected by the hurricane that hit Puerto Rico and what the Better Business Bureau says you need to do to protect yourself from possible scammers.
Meanwhile, at home, it's about staying cool and protecting your health from extreme heat, protecting yourself rather. Outside right now with live cam, we've got some clouds over the downtown area. How hot today? And we'll go ahead and take a look ahead the rest of the week, coming up with Justin Horn. 5:41 on your Tuesday morning. This morning, much of Puerto Rico still without power as it continues to deal with torrential rain and flooding after Hurricane Fiona pounded the island.
As CNN's Jen Sullivan reports, there are ways to help those affected, but watch out for scammers.
As the damage grows, so does the need in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Fiona left a massive path of destruction.
We are still in the zone of danger and not out and about.
As charities get operations running to address the catastrophe, the Better Business Bureau says be cautious because scammers are also looking to take advantage of the dire situation.
People want to help in any way they can, and sadly, scammers take advantage of that vulnerability to deceive donors.
Grassroots organizations on the island are taking donations to help the over 1 million still without electricity and hundreds of thousands without running water. Organizations like Direct Relief, which is a BBB accredited group with volunteers on the ground, are helping hospitals forced to run on generators.
The Comprehensive Cancer Hospital's generator failed, so they had to, in the middle of the storm, move patients from one hospital to the other.
So before you donate to any charity, the BBB has these 3 tips to protect you and to make sure your money doesn't end up in the wrong hands. 1, do your research and donate to charities directly instead of crowdfunding sites.
If they don't have boots on the ground, how are they going to get your donation to the people who need it the most? Look for experienced charities that can provide fast relief.
2, use a credit card and avoid sending money via peer-to-peer apps. And finally, pay attention to red flags like copycat websites and hard-to-believe claims. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And time now, 5:42 and 77 degrees for now.
Up next, an important recall alert regarding some popular healthy choice frozen meals.
And welcome back. It's 5:45. In your morning consumer headlines, check your freezer. A frozen meal by Healthy Choice was just recalled. So this is especially important for anyone allergic to milk. It is the Korean-style beef, part of the line of Power Bowls, a South Texas-based frozen food storage and repackaging facility called Valley International Cold Storage Acquisition in Harlingen, and said the labels don't have a warning that the meals contain milk. Luckily, there haven't been reports of anyone getting sick. You can find the details on the recall on the USDA's website.
A genetically modified tomato developed by a team of scientists is now approved by the USDA. Apparently, it tastes, smells, even looks kind of like a tomato. Makes sense because it is a tomato, it's just purple. The move by the USDA clears the way for it to be sold at a grocery store near you. And this tomato isn't just pretty in purple. The scientists who made it said it has more antioxidants and a longer shelf life than the garden variety red tomatoes. The next step is to get a thumbs up from the FDA.
And Bed Bath & Beyond is planning to close 150 of its stores and just announced 50 of them. So only 2 in Texas are closing, one in Wichita Falls, the other in Port Arthur. The company is trying to rescue itself and keep from having to file bankruptcy. It is hoping that cutting jobs and closing stores, along with more than $500 million in financing, will do the trick. The business model itself is struggling against other big box stores and Amazon's low prices.
5:47, and Stephen Cavazos is monitoring some police activity in New Braunfels that might affect traffic.
Yeah, and it already looks like we're seeing that buildup there on the TransGuide camera. Let's give you a wide shot here, and I'll step out and show you exactly what we're seeing out there. Right now, of course, you see those flashing lights, and according to the New Braunfels Police Department, this is the intersection there at State Highway 46 at FM 1101. That intersection is closed off due to ongoing police activity. This was reported about half an hour ago, guys. Now, there is no active danger, according to police, to the general public, and thankfully, there's no injuries also associated with this particular incident, but according to police, they're saying that this is going to be there for some time. Now, a quick detour, according to what they're sharing with us, is that the traffic coming into New Braunfels on Highway 46 is being diverted to Alvis Lane, and the outbound traffic is being diverted along I-35 frontage road. So again, you can expect some delays there. We're seeing it pick up on the TransGuide camera. Not sure how long this will take to clear out, but we are going to watch it closely and give you those updates and solutions here on GMSA. But let's just take you to the map and show you what everyone else looks like, because thankfully it's still pretty quiet as we give you a view of the metro area. Lots of that active construction, but thankfully none of it is really causing an issue with traffic just yet. But we're getting closer to that 6 a.m. mark, so you know things are going to change pretty quickly. But back here at 35 at 46, we're going to have to watch this spot closely and make sure that you look for different routes. This may be a little while before we see some resolution here, guys.
Thank you for the update, Stephen.
Yes, thank you. Not too much rain, I guess, for now.
No, we've hit a dry spell again, and you know it's frustrating. We did so well in August, or at least we got some rain. And keep in mind, this is at the airport, but this shows where we are year to date. We're at 8.20 inches. And let me take you back in time here and compare this to other years. This is the driest year to date when you're looking at January 1st through September 18th that we've seen. 1917 at this point, we were at 8.23 inches, 1925, 8.30, 9.02 in 1954. You get the idea. So this is the driest we've ever been to start the year, or as we get to September 18th, that we've ever been. The average is 23.25. So it just puts it into perspective. It has been an extremely dry year, especially in San Antonio. Now, parts of the hill country have seen quite a bit more rain, but it's just the situation here in town. And up I-35 along the Braunfels and in the Braunfels area too. It has just been extremely dry. 78 degrees right now, mostly cloudy. Dew point is at 74. It feels like 81. The humidity is thick and it is sticky out there. 73 Kerrville, 73 Fredericksburg, 77 Hondo, 73 in Beeville. Temperatures are pretty uniform this morning. With some cloud cover over top of us as well. And those clouds thin out a little bit this afternoon. We should see mostly sunny skies, which gets those temperatures up to 96. But the feels like number, that's the important number. Feels like 100 later today. In a lot of places, we'll see that heat index up around 100. Let's talk dew points going into the future now. So dew points fairly high today. Tomorrow, they fall off a little bit. This is during the afternoon, but dew points will be in the upper 50s. And I think we get some drier air as we get into Thursday, Friday, even Saturday. So the air dries out some. The unfortunate part about that is the temperatures actually go up. So that's the time frame when we could see numbers near 100. Humidity briefly returns late in the weekend before a front comes through, and that really knocks down dew points. And I think by early next week, at least the mornings and the evenings will feel a lot better. Here's the big picture across the country. We've got some showers and storms out in the desert southwest, a little bit of rain along the west coast, but nothing across the nation's midsection as high pressure is still very much in control. Now we need to talk about Fiona. It is a powerful hurricane, major hurricane now. Cat 3, winds are at 115, gusting to 140. It is nearing some of the Bahamian Islands there, and it will likely do some damage as it gets close. This races northward and then strengthens even more. Category 4 storm, winds can go as high as 140 miles per hour, even as it passes by Bermuda. It won't be a direct hit, but it'll brush the island, likely leaving some damage there too. From there, it moves north and weakens, eventually moving up towards Newfoundland, but still probably bringing some pretty heavy rain as it does. Meantime, elsewhere in the tropics, we've got a couple of areas that we're watching. One here that this wave moves into the Caribbean by later this week, 40% chance of development. And this is an area that we do want to watch because there could be some development, again, once it moves west. And then from there, there's some questions as to where it would move. We'll keep you posted. Meantime, our forecast, high pressure and control, temperatures awful hot, 100 in Austin, 99 in San Antonio. This is Friday, so we're going forward in time here, but this is probably our hottest day, and you see the temperatures across the state. Very toasty. High pressure finally moves out. There's that front we've been talking about on Monday, drier and cooler behind it. 97 Wednesday, 99 Thursday. There's that 99 we just talked about on Friday. 97 Saturday, 96 on Sunday. So a hot stretch here, but finally a cool down Monday. A high of 90. It'll be breezy, but the biggest thing you'll notice is the drier air.
We'll take that.
Hang in there, folks.
We'll get there.
We will. We've got to wait, what, about a week, that's all.
Yeah, well, yeah. And for the big cool down, still elusive for now.
Off.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Justin. 5:52, 77 degrees.
And coming up next, one of the biggest movies of all time returns to theaters ahead of its long-awaited sequel, which arrives later this year.
Here are your lottery numbers. Pick 3, 205, Fireball 5, Daily 4, 5543, Fireball 7.
Cash 5, 1, 7, 16, 18, 31. Your Texas two-step, 7, 10, 14, 33. Bonus ball 27. And your Powerball numbers, 7, 15, 36, 46, 67. Powerball 7, Power Play 2. Good luck.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, we'll start with what is now Cat 3 Fiona. The hurricane and the first major hurricane of the season has moved just north of most of the Caribbean, going past the Turks and Caicos after devastating Puerto Rico and then parts of the Dominican Republic. I'm going to be tracking that, the proximity to both Bermuda and the mainland, because it'll sandwich kind of between. Also, Sherri Papini sentenced the moment that the California mom who faked her own kidnapping was confronted with the truth, and her husband found out it was all a hoax. We're going to have that and so much more coming up right here on Good Morning America.
You should see your faces.
Moviegoers likely remember similar looks on their faces when Avatar first arrived back in 2009. With $2.8 billion at the global box office, Avatar is the highest-grossing movie of all time, according to Box Office Mojo. James Cameron's sci-fi epic is hitting theaters again, ahead of the release of its sequel later this year.
Avatar was wildly successful in 2009 upon its initial release and effectively disappeared from the pop culture zeitgeist for nearly 13 years.
I see you.
I see you.
The re-release lands a few months before the December debut of Avatar: The Way of Water, which was originally slated for 2014.
Knowing that James Cameron has been planning this for so long, having visited the actual studio itself, and I accidentally walked in on a session where they were going through footage. It was an accident, and I can't say anything more than that. I believe that all the delays are just going to lead to a spectacular experience.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Ahead in the next hour, GMSA, the school year well underway in Uvalde. We'll tell you what happened at a school board meeting last night. And lots of questions continue to rise as more migrants are moved across state lines. Just ahead, more on a criminal investigation launched here in Bexar County that's making national headlines. And Stephen is tracking traffic. We'll be right back.
Now, thousands of migrants being sent from the south to northern cities. At least one Republican governor is now under investigation for the legality of it all. I'm Alex Verche in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
This morning, the search is on for a driver involved in a hit-and-run crash that killed one person and injured a child. We're going to tell you what we know so far.
Could your new iPhone have a problem? We'll tell you what Apple is saying about the issue and when a fix will come.
And taking a look outside with live cam, it feels like summer again. For now, though, 76 degrees.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning to you. It is Tuesday. It is September 20th.
Thanks for joining us. It is September. We're wishing that it felt like this past August. We got a little break and now we're dealing with the heat once again.
A lot of us were really hoping to be done with the very hot weather, but those temperatures are lingering and we're about to take a walk and walk the dog with Justin Horn.
It's Fido's forecast time.
Fido's forecast.
Yeah, we got a great picture in. This is Canelo. You know what? I don't know if it's he or she, but he or she just like staying indoors, just chilling on the couch. Listen, it's a good time for that. It's appropriate. Even a little bit of a blanket there. So it's probably nice and cool inside the house, and that's where Canelo likes it. We appreciate the pictures, by the way. You can send those in, and we'll feature your pet on the forecast here. And here's the forecast if you do plan on taking the dogs for a walk today. It's going to be hot this morning, hot and humid. 79 to start, probably okay. But once we start getting towards lunchtime, it gets a little not so fun out there. Hot, 90 at 1 o'clock, 94 at 3 p.m., 96 by 5 p.m. Probably not advisable to have those little paws in the pavement by that time because temperatures will be hot enough to where it will be very, very toasty. Let's look at some of the weather headlines today. We've got some clouds rolling in this morning, much like we've seen last several mornings. And so we'll start off mostly cloudy. The heat index likely tops 100 today, and then 100-degree days. Will we get the air temperature up to 100? I think it's possible by the time we get into Thursday and Friday, so we can finally break that record we've been talking about all summer. Not that we really want to, but that's just the reality of it. And then a cold front scheduled for Monday. That's our cool down. We've got to wait sort of a week to get there. But That is the forecast. Those are the headlines. We're going to talk more about that, plus the latest on Fiona here in just a bit. But we get over to Stephen now and check in on those roadways.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. 35 at State Highway 46. If you've been watching us for the last half hour or so, we've been talking about this particular incident for a little while. That is because the New Braunfels Police Department posted this just a few minutes ago, really about half an hour or so ago, where we see that police activity there along 35 at State Highway 46. Now, this is that intersection where FM 1101 meets 46, and you can see that it is blocked off due to police activity. Now, information right now, we're still working on getting more details, but what we know is that it's really no injuries have been reported just yet, and right now we do know that there is no immediate danger to the public, so that's some good news. But of course, we know that it's going to be impacting traffic. Parents, I would advise you to find out where your students' school buses are. If this is in that travel route, you may see some delays. Try to look for some different plans. But let's go ahead and take you to the map, because while we're watching that, thankfully, everywhere else looks pretty calm. So we're able to keep our focus up there, but really nothing else is showing up on our map that would cause any issues for your early travels. And if your destination is the Alamo City, you're in luck there as well. 29 minutes if you're traveling on I-10 westbound heading in from Seguin, you are in the green. 33 minutes on 87 northbound heading in from Lavernia, and it's just a 29-minute drive time for our friends down in Floresville. So things look pretty fine there, but not looking so great here at 35 at 46. We're going to watch this area closely. I am working to get some details. I'll be reaching out to the New Braunfels Police Department to see what's going on there and when we can expect to see some relief. Mark, Steph.
Thank you, Stephen. San Antonio Police and Crime Stoppers are asking for your help in finding the driver involved in a hit-and-run incident that left one man dead and a 5-year-old injured. This happened back on September 3rd, and police say the victim, Henry Stevenson, was driving on I-37 near Southton Road. And that is where officers believe the person driving this gray Dodge Ram merged on the highway, causing Stevenson's vehicle to flip several times. He was eventually thrown from that vehicle and died at the scene. The 5-year-old passenger was also thrown from the vehicle and was hurt. The driver of that Dodge Ram did not stop to help. Now, if you know anything about the deadly crash, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen right now, 210-224-STOP. You could receive an award of up to $5,000 for any helpful information.
Haven for Hope is focused on providing mental health focused training to its staff and its clients.
With more families with children facing homelessness, they say stress is something everyone is trained to look out for. Haven for Hope has more than 180 community partners, many of which can provide mental support for its clients. Barriers are often stigma, cost, and the wait time to be seen. Staff also receives extra care, knowing they deal with a lot of heavy trauma.
Well, I think you're seeing the stress, the multi-generational stress from the parents not being able to afford rent, from children being out of school for years, from the instability from families sleeping on different couches, bouncing from hotels to hotels.
Haven for Hope has also a suicide prevention training and mental health days, and that clients and their staff can take any time. So if you need someone to talk to, that number 988 is the National Suicide Prevention and Crisis Lifeline.
Now to the battle at the U.S. southern border. A criminal investigation now being launched near Bexar County in response to tactics by Florida's Republican governor, who took credit for flying migrants north to a Democratic city. ABC's Alex Perche has more on how cities are working to get migrants the resources they need as the immigration showdown takes political center stage.
This morning, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis under investigation by a sheriff in Texas after DeSantis took credit for flying a group of Venezuelan migrants to Martha's Vineyard.
We're going to discover to what extent the law can hold these people accountable.
Bexar County's Democratic sheriff says he believes there's a high probability that laws were broken.
Our understanding is that a Venezuelan migrant was paid what we would call a bird dog fee to recruit approximately 50 migrants. 48 migrants were lured. At a certain point, they were shuttled to an airplane where they were flown to Florida and then eventually flown to Martha's Vineyard.
DeSantis' office fired back on Twitter overnight, writing, "Immigrants are more than willing to leave Bexar County after being enticed to cross the border and to fend for themselves. Florida provided an opportunity in a sanctuary state with resource, as expected." But attorneys for these migrants are also calling for an investigation. pointing to brochures given out that they say are misleading because the information inside was meant for refugees, not migrants. Community service workers in Massachusetts are now rushing to find long-term support for these migrants. But DeSantis isn't the only Republican governor sending migrants elsewhere. Texas Governor Greg Abbott's office says he sent some 11,000 migrants from Texas to Chicago, New York, and Washington. New numbers from Customs and Border Protection show migrant apprehensions have now topped 2 million so far this fiscal year. D.C.'s Mayor Muriel Bowser is now warning other cities across the country to get prepared.
This is a national issue, and the nation's mayors need to be prepared with a response.
There's also frustration from states about the federal response. Massachusetts Republican governor is saying that he is urging both Democrats and Republicans in Washington to implement some sort of meaningful immigration reform, saying that he doesn't think it's any secret that the system is broken. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
New this morning, we're learning more about the finalists in the search for a Comal ISD superintendent. His name is Dr. John Chapman. He has 17 years experience as a superintendent for other districts here in Texas. He also was named Superintendent of the Year while he worked at Comfort ISD and Ennis ISD. Now they begin the state-mandated 21-day waiting period.
Delivery companies may be a little too ready for this holiday season. Experts say FedEx, UPS, and the U.S. Postal Service bulked up so much over the last couple of years, they could handle a combined 110 million packages a day over the holidays, well over expected demand. And car fans are just about a week and a half away from getting a piece of Porsche. The brand's parent company, Volkswagen, setting an IPO price range between $76.50 and $82.50 a share, which would value the sports car maker at about $78 billion. Trading starts on the 29th.
The Grand Theft Auto leak appears to be legit. Video game publisher Rockstar Games has confirmed the images, saying they appeared as a result of a network intrusion by an unauthorized third party. Apple addressing issues with the new iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. Some users say their phone is buzzing and shaking while using camera apps like TikTok and Instagram. Apple says it's aware of the problem and a fix will be released sometime next week.
In a new KSAT Explains, it's all about 5G, the latest and greatest in internet and mobile devices. But what exactly is 5G and how is it different than previous technologies? We break it all down along with a look at why some people are concerned about the health impact of 5G and why there are questions about the research done so far. So you can watch KSAT Explains right now online at ksat.com/explains or by scanning this QR code on your screen. That's where you can find all the stories that we've explained so far.
10 minutes past 6, 76 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, the damage in Puerto Rico after Fiona made landfall. We're going to take a look at the aftermath.
And you may have seen alligators in Florida, but what about right here in Texas? Just ahead, we'll tell you where this gator was found and how big it is.
How scary. And taking a look outside with live cam, some clouds there to help us out this morning. We're at 76 degrees for now. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's 6:14. Trending right now, the Woodlawn Theater will soon be known as the Wonder Theater once it moves to the Wonderland of the Americas. We have to tell you about how the local community theater will be taking over part of the mall, formerly known as the Santikos Bijou in Balcones Heights. Now, the theater will be completely remodeling 2 of the former theater spaces to house its main stage productions as well as its Woodlawn Academy.
Florida is widely known for being home to alligators, but lately Houston appears to be a hot spot for the giant reptiles too. Harris County Constable Mark Herman said in a tweet that a 10-foot alligator was roaming around an Atascocita subdivision in northeast Houston.
So people who live in the neighborhood said the gator was first spotted on security camera. It was later hoisted onto a trailer and is now in the custody of animal control. So you can read more about it right now on our website at ksat.com.
Right now, it's 6:15.
Let's go ahead and check back with Stephen Cavazos.
Hey, you guys may have just received a push alert really just about a few moments ago. We are working to get some information here of 35 at State Highway 46. And that information, that push alert, make sure you have the KSAT app downloaded on your phone because it notifies you of incidents like we're seeing here at this particular spot from TransGuide. We know this is at FM 1101 right there at State Highway 46. And what we're learning from the New Braunfels Police Department is that area or intersection, I should say, Freeway is closed off right now due to an ongoing police activity. As you can see it right there on the screen, traffic is pretty much pretty active out there, and it's an area that we've been watching closely throughout the morning. But just take a look. Right now, that intersection is going to be closed for some time, according to police. The good news is no injuries are associated with this incident, and there's no immediate danger to the public. So again, that's good news. But what's not looking good is, of course, the travel through that area. So make sure you're looking for different routes. We'll be combing through solutions, but thankfully we're really not seeing any other big delays in this particular spot. But again, make sure that you stay up to date with all traffic related incidents by downloading that KSAT app. Let's take you back over here because to the map, thankfully no other issues to report. It's been a relatively quiet morning here in the metro area. Just remember to drive safely. There are several active road closures still taking place, and I actually just updated that list yesterday. So head over to ksat.com/traffic for more information. And again, we'll be working to get some details here at this particular incident, but hopefully we'll see some resolution before morning traffic really starts to get going here, guys.
Stephen, thank you. We'll get those kids ready to head to the bus stop this morning. We know it's warm. We know it's humid. Temperatures begin in the mid to upper 70s, mostly cloudy. And then by the afternoon, we're up around 94. It's going to be really hot, and the heat index will probably be near 100. So just heads up. It doesn't really cool down much at all. And as we looked at the numbers yesterday, 96 here in San Antonio. That was the high temperature. 97 in Hondo, 98 in Cotulla, 97 in Carrizo Springs. It was a hot day. There's no reason to believe we won't be right back there again today. You'll see very, very similar numbers. And as we look at the live camera and go outside for you, mostly cloudy, 77 at the airport, 76 Stinson, 75 at Kelly, 73 Kerrville, and 75 in Carrizo Springs this morning, 74 New Braunfels, mid-70s here around town. And the dew point is in the mid-70s too. So that means that we're going to see a heat index this afternoon. I think we top out at 96 again. That translates to a feels like number of 100, and that could be for several hours later today. Meantime, in the tropics, we've been talking about Hurricane Fiona. Still there. This is a Category 3 storm, strengthens as it moves up towards Bermuda. We've also got other areas that we're watching, one south of that with a 40% chance of development. This is one that we do need to watch because if it makes its way into the Caribbean, is able to strengthen, there's still a lot of questions as to where it could go. Something that we want to keep an eye on. There's another area too in the North Atlantic, but that will be moving away. Tropical cyclone names, if we already get another name storm, it would be Gaston, followed by Hermine. We'll see if we get there. It's been a pretty quiet start to the year, but things are beginning to pick up. For the forecast, we're looking at a ridge high pressure over top of us that has been bringing the big time heat. By the time we get into Friday, and I point out Friday because I think it will be our hottest day, Austin will be up near 100, 99 here in San Antonio, so we'll be right there at that triple digit mark, I think. 98 Houston, 95 in Corpus Christi. High pressure finally does move out of the way by the time we get into the weekend, and that opens the door for a frontal boundary hopefully to come through on Monday. That dries us out, cools us down some. As we look at the 100-degree days this year, we've been stuck at 58. We thought for the world we'd break this record, and then the triple-digit days just stopped. But now they're trying to make a comeback here, and if we do get 100 either Thursday or Friday, we could tie 2009 for most 100-degree days in a year. We'll see. The latest we've ever seen a triple-digit day is back on September 28, 2005. The extended forecast. We're going to go 97 Wednesday, 99 Thursday, 99 Friday. If we do get 99 Friday, that would be a record. And then warm over the weekend with partly cloudy skies and that frontal boundary Monday, hopefully cooling us down some, and it may bring some windy conditions as well. Now to Hurricane Fiona. We just talked about it. It's gaining strength as it moves north after slamming Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. The storm already blamed for at least 2 deaths in the Caribbean, and most of Puerto Rico has no power. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley with more.
This morning, Hurricane Fiona is strengthening and is expected to turn into a major hurricane as it barrels towards Turks and Caicos. Fiona already causing widespread destruction in Puerto Rico, dumping up to 30 inches of rain. Along Puerto Rico's coast, the streets in many towns look more like canals, block after block of homes and businesses surrounded by water. The powerful winds knocking out power to nearly everyone on the island, many now doubting the government's claim that the power can be restored within days. So far, more than 1,000 people have had to be rescued. At least one person has died.
The water, she says that the water was running just like this, but inside of her house.
Ruben Ramos and his mother called 911 Monday. It took firefighters 7 hours to reach them.
What was it like when the firefighters arrived? ¿Cómo sintieron cuando los bomberos llegaron?
Oh, felicidad, que estamos a salvo.
Felicidad, you were happy, you were relieved.
Happy.
President Biden spoke to Puerto Rico's governor from Air Force One on his way back from Queen Elizabeth's funeral. The White House says Biden pledged support from FEMA, saying more than 300 federal personnel are already working to assist with response and recovery, and that number will increase substantially in the coming days. FEMA already has a large presence in Puerto Rico due to the island's ongoing recovery from Hurricane Maria, which made landfall exactly 5 years ago today. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
621, 76 degrees.
And coming up today on GMSA at 9, the Carver Community Cultural Center on the city's east side is getting ready for their new performance season.
Tiffany Huertas is going to talk with the executive director and the local artists about what is to come.
Plus, September is Blood Cancer Awareness Month.
And this morning we're speaking with a local doctor about the disease and how a unique program here in San Antonio is helping treat patients. Those stories and more today on GMSA at 9. We'll be back.
This is how it feels to do more with less asthma, thanks to Dupixent. Dupixent is not for sudden breathing problems. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma and can help improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks. Dupixent helps prevent asthma attacks and can even reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Imagine that. Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Who knows what you can do when you do more with less asthma? Ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
Welcome back. 625 this morning. We want to remind you about a KSAT community event happening this weekend.
University Health and Bexar County are teaming up to offer free flu shots, and they are offering them in a drive-through clinic on Saturday from 8 to noon at Gustafson Stadium on Culebra Road. Now, the shots will be offered to anyone 6 months and older, and you do not need to register in advance. If you miss the clinic on Saturday, that's okay. There are more opportunities in October, and we have a complete list of dates and registration information on our website at ksat.com.
Steph, guess what? Still 625,
yes.
76 degrees.
And September is Hunger Action Month, still ahead on GMSA. We have some budget-friendly tips that can help you save some money while planning your meals.
TransGuide right now, things are looking good here in town. The problems remain up in the Braunfels area. Steve has been tracking that all morning long. We'll have more coming up right here on GMSA.
San Antonio police say it's been long enough. They're trying to track down a driver who they say caused a deadly crash earlier this month. I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you more about how they're turning up the heat to find him.
Questions continue to arise as migrants are moved across state lines. We'll tell you about the criminal investigation happening at our borders.
Waiting for the sun to come up outside with live cam. You know, if you put that windshield sunscreen away saying, I don't need this anymore this year, find it as soon as possible. Good morning, everybody. It will be a necessity for your car, truck, or van. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday. That's September 20th.
Thanks for joining us this morning. I never lost that car shade. Yeah, it's always there because the afternoon's pretty hot overall.
I'm not going to admit that I put it away, but,
Mark.
But I did.
Hopeful.
Yeah, bring it back. Bring it back. Hey, this is my little one. Today's her birthday. I had to give her a quick shout out.
Happy birthday.
5 years old. Yes. We were very excited. Happy birthday. We wish you the best day there, kiddo. Just wanted to show that real quick. Meantime, the radar. A few showers here along the coast, and these are trying to spread inland. But like yesterday, they won't have much success. So I think mainly just our southeastern counties have potential for a couple showers today here in San Antonio. Likely stays dry. So let's look at the KSAT 12-hour forecast here. 9 a.m. partly cloudy. By noontime, 88 degrees, mostly sunny. 2 p.m. 92, and then we're up around 96 by 5 o'clock. There's enough humidity there where the heat index, as we've been saying, will be up near 100. So be careful out there. This heat is no joke. And it only gets hotter from here, if you can believe that. We may be setting some records later this week. We've got more on that. Plus, we're going to have another look at some of those pet pictures you sent in. That's here in just a few minutes. But Steven's been busy this morning. What's the latest over there in the traffic department?
Well, first, happy birthday to your kiddo.
Thank you very much.
Special happy birthday there.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get a look here, though, at traffic. Thankfully, things here in town aren't too bad. 281 at Jones-Maltzberger. We showed you the rotation as we went to break because we really want to just remind you that, thankfully, no issues are on the roadways here in town, though it is picking up. So we will see traffic get busier here in probably the next few minutes. But you can already see that the commute is just getting a tad bit. I would already say we're already pretty busy here, but morning rush is about a few minutes away, so it will get a little red on our screen. But thankfully, we see more green than anything else. Of course, we do have those active construction spots to be on the lookout for, but the big issue is going to be actually up toward New Braunfels. We talked about this a little bit earlier, where we see this particular incident taking place, police activity off 35 at State Highway 46. I just want to remind you that we are still watching this area closely. That intersection there at State Highway 46 at FM 1101 is closed right now due to that police activity. Thankfully, no injuries are associated with this, and this is not an immediate threat to the public, according to what police are telling us. But we did send an email out to the public information officer with the city of New Braunfels. So while we wait for that information, just try to look for those different routes. It does look like this could be there for a little while longer, guys.
Thanks for the update, Stephen. San Antonio police turning up the heat, turning to Crime Stoppers for help with a case involving a deadly crash.
They are trying to track down a driver who they say caused it. Katrina Weber is live near downtown with that story. And Katrina, we understand they are sharing information on a big clue in this case.
Well, that's right. Police released a photo of a pickup that they say was involved, hoping it might catch someone's attention and then lead to an even bigger lead in this case. Now, they say that the person who was driving that truck made a move that proved to be deadly for another driver. Police say Henry Stevenson was traveling in his Chevy Blazer on the afternoon of September 3rd, heading south on Interstate 37 near Southton Road. They say another driver suddenly merged into his lane, forcing Stevenson's Blazer off the road. It rolled over, ejecting him and his 5-year-old passenger. Stevenson then died of his injuries. The police released a photo of that other vehicle, a 2019 to 2022 Dodge Ram 2500 pickup. It's gray in color, and it looks like this image was captured by a surveillance camera in that area. They're asking anyone who might recognize it to call Crime Stoppers, and they say there could be a reward involved for the right information. And that number for Crime Stoppers is 210-224-STOP or 224-7867. Reporting live near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. New this morning, San Antonio police are looking for a suspect they say shot a man overnight. It happened around 1 a.m. in the 500 block of South Acme Road near Old Highway 90 on the city's west side. The man was taken to the hospital. So far, there is no word on the victim's condition or what led up to that shooting. No arrests have been made.
To the latest on the battle at the border, the flights that carried migrants from San Antonio to Massachusetts are now part of a criminal investigation.
Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar wants to know who promised migrants work and, quote, lured them onto flights out of state only to be left with nothing. This also comes as the League of Latin American Citizens, or LULAC, is offering a $5,000 reward for information on a woman named Perla.
They believe she is in Eagle Pass. They say she's promising migrants work, money, and other incentives if they sign a form stating they want to voluntarily go to a different location as part of an effort to fill buses and flights out of state.
Well, a migrant was paid what we would call a bird dog fee to recruit approximately 50 migrants from the area around a migrant resource center on San Pedro.
If you sign this voluntary document to transport you to New York, we're going to give you jobs. We're going to give you money. You're going to have housing. Everything that you need will be provided to you in New York. So sign here so we can put you on the bus and you can go there. And that's a lie.
And if you know anything that can identify the woman LULAC is looking for right now, we'll have a link on our website where you can contact them.
6:35 right now. School in Uvalde has been back in session for nearly 2 weeks now. And last night, the school board met for their monthly meeting. And as our Lee Waldman reports, the meeting started with calls for more accountability from the school district.
Our babies died. They were massacred. And y'all still let those same SOBs walk around. They didn't.
Echoes of continued pain at Monday's board meeting from families of the Robb Elementary shooting. Brett Cross and Berlinda Ariola calling out the UCISD school board to investigate all police officers with the school and to better protect current students.
I keep telling y'all, this is like the third or fourth time that I keep coming and telling y'all that about the security. And all I hear is, we'll look into it. We'll make sure, we'll look into it. We're not going to look into it when it happens again.
After the open forum, the focus shifted toward the future. Huckabee, a Texas architecture firm focused on designing schools, presented a plan to build a new elementary school in Uvalde.
Making sure that we understand what the community's expectations and goals are for this project and make sure that we encompass that in the design.
Jeff Rodriguez and Carrie Brandy presented 3 site options for the new campus and laid out the timeline for the project. There will be a community advisory committee that will be made up of school officials, teachers, parents, a Uvalde PD representative, and business owners. Brady and Rodriguez estimate construction will be done in October of 2024.
At that phase, the school could then be furnished with FF&E as furniture, fixture, and equipment, and then we could then determine when the first day of school would be.
Monday night, the board met behind closed doors to discuss personnel matters. When they reconvened, no action was taken and no further details were given. In Uvalde, Lee Waldman for GMSA.
A man accused of threatening to take out coaches at an unnamed school and finish a job at Central Catholic High School is now in jail. 25-year-old Hayden Kuamara is facing a terroristic threat charge. According to the arrest affidavit, the suspect showed a witness photos of guns and claimed to have a gun in his car. The affidavit says he was going to get a tattoo of a tally mark for every killing. The report also says someone at the school was on his hit list because they sexually assaulted his ex-girlfriend. Now, police were able to contact that person and positively identify the suspect through a witness statement. And the president of Central Catholic High School released a statement to parents and staff. It said in part, quote, "We increased our perimeter fencing and gate systems over the summer while also adding to our existing camera system. Also, as part of our plan, we will be adding uniformed officers on campus for the foreseeable future," end quote.
In other morning headlines, a shooting investigation underway at the Tri-State Fair and Rodeo in Amarillo. The Potter County Sheriff says just before 11 last night, a man opened fire on off-duty officers at the fair. The sheriff says one of the deputies and an off-duty firefighter who was also working there were shot along with a bystander. Deputies returned fire and hit the suspect. The deputy, firefighter, and bystander all at the hospital and are expected to recover. The suspect was taken to a hospital with life-threatening injuries.
A Russian missile has blasted a crater close to a nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine, damaging nearby industrial equipment, but not hitting its 3 reactors. Ukrainian authorities have denounced the move as an act of nuclear terrorism. The strike renewed fears that the war in Ukraine might produce a radiation disaster. Throughout the war, Russia has targeted Ukraine's electricity generation and transmission equipment, causing blackouts and endangering the safety systems of the country's nuclear power plants.
Adnan Syed is newly out of prison after a judge vacated his murder conviction Monday.
He was the subject of the first season of the hit podcast Serial, and it's releasing a bonus episode on the case today. CNN's Amy Kiley explains the case.
This is a Global Tel-Link prepaid call from
Adnan Syed.
If you perked up at that music, you're probably a fan of the podcast Serial. If not, you might be wondering why the Adnan Syed case is getting so much attention.
We're not yet declaring Adnan Syed is innocent, but we are declaring that in the interest of fairness and justice, he is entitled to a new trial.
Syed was convicted of killing his one-time girlfriend Heyman Lee in 1999. They were in high school at the time. Syed was sentenced to life in prison, but has always maintained he's innocent. Serial's first season left many fans wondering if he'd gotten a fair trial. Baltimore prosecutors investigated, and last week they moved to vacate his conviction. They cited unreliable cell phone tower data used as evidence, advances in DNA testing, and information about other suspects the defense never received.
When prosecutors do not do their duty, when they do not disclose evidence as they are supposed to, the result can be that innocent people like Adnan lose decades of their lives for crimes they did not commit.
Yesterday, a judge vacated Syed's conviction and released him with an ankle monitor. During that hearing, the victim's brother said this case isn't just a podcast to him.
This family is interested in the pursuit of justice. They want to know more than anybody who it was that killed Hae-Min Lee.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
In other news, are you registered to vote? Since 2012, the fourth Tuesday in September has been National Voter Registration Day. It's a coordinated effort from local, state, and national organizations to urge people to register. Hundreds of thousands of people take part each year. Now, each state has different registration requirements. You can find more about it in your area at vote.org.
HEB is accepting nominations for their Excellence in Education Awards. They first launched the program alongside the Texas Association of School Administrators. It was awarded almost $13 million. Applications will be accepted throughout October 17th, and we have all that information on our website at ksat.com.
Right now, 641, 76 degrees.
And if you're getting ready to head to the grocery store, you're going to want to keep it right here. After the break, some simple things you can do to meal prep that could save you big. And welcome back. It is 6:45 as we continue Hunger Action Month. We are continuing to raise awareness about food insecurities.
KSAT Community is partnering with the San Antonio Food Bank to help spread the message. Brittany Hernandez with the education coordinator at the food bank came on SA Live to talk about budget-friendly meal planning. She says, first, plan ahead. Look for deals before you head to the store and bring a list. Be willing to make replacements for ingredients in your recipes and never, ever shop while hungry.
And if you're not sure what to make while on a budget, the San Antonio Food Bank offers classes. The food bank also offers assistance programs, including curbside food distribution, a farmer's market, and the mobile mercado.
A friendly reminder, registration still open for the 9th annual Head for the Cure. The 5K run walk raises awareness and money to fight brain cancer.
The race is this Saturday, and you can still register right now on KSAT.com. Just use the code KSAT to get that $5 discount, and this will be off of your registration.
Steph will be there, high heels and all.
Not high heels. I'm not that crazy.
Okay.
But yes, I will be there running.
Sounds good. 6:46 right now.
Let's check back with Steven.
Hey, that's awesome, Steph. Always the motivator here. Hey, did get some information from the city of New Braunfels on this particular incident there at 35 at State Highway 46. Now, it's pretty much the same information that we already know, that there is no immediate danger to the public. That includes any surrounding areas, and thankfully, no injuries are reported. Here's the thing, though. It's not clear exactly how long it's going to take for this intersection at FM 1101 and State Highway 46 to open up, but it's really causing more of a traffic issue than anything else. And as you can see there, as we have those first responders that have blocked off that intersection, I'll step out of the way so you can actually see over the last hour or so, we've just continued to see that traffic build up out there. So as I mentioned, this will be more of a traffic issue than anything, but we're going to watch this spot closely and look for those developments throughout the morning. But we take you to the map and you can see already it's getting pretty busy out there. It's 6:47. We got a lot of red out there over on the northwest side near State Highway 16 and that Bandera Road, I should say, and 1604 and US 90 traveling eastbound from Castroville. But these are the usual trouble spots as we tend to see it every single morning. Morning rush has arrived, but I would advise you try not to rush out the door and take it easy this morning. We take it back to a rotation here at 281 at Grayson, where we can see back here in town things are moving, but we got a great shot there, and it looks like at 37 we may have an issue that have popped up, but I'll find out what's going on there and give you those updates, guys.
Couple of beautiful sunrise shots there too, and Justin's back now with a very popular new segment here on KSAT 12.
Photos forecast. Yeah, we asked folks to send in pictures of their dogs, and we got a ton of pictures, which is awesome. We're trying to get through them, but this is one this morning. Sent in from Comstock all the way out west there, west of Del Rio. This was Daisy, and she just wants to play. She's looking out the window, waiting on the rain to stop. Apparently, whichever day this was taken, there was some rain in the area. And yeah, ready to get outside. You know, today's going to be kind of a rough day for those pups to get outside too because of the heat. Temperatures really do warm up. By 11 a.m., we're at 84 degrees and humid. Kind of questionable if you want to go out for the walk. Certainly not advised this afternoon with temperatures in the mid-90s, that heat index close to 100. And by the way, if you want to send in some pictures, there's a QR code for you. You can scan that, and that'll get you to KSAT Connect to submit some of those pictures of your four-legged friend there. Right now, we've got some clouds off in the distance. You can kind of see some clouds building back there. Any shower activity, though, as well south and east of San Antonio. Right now, it looks like we've got skies kind of clearing a little bit. 77. Dew point is at 74, feels like 78, 72 Kerrville, 74 New Braunfels, but generally mid-70s here around San Antonio this morning, and it's awful humid. Dew points are in the mid-70s. That is in the oppressive category. These numbers come down some this afternoon, but not much, which is why we're concerned about that heat index. High dew points today. I do think that by the afternoon tomorrow, we'll start to see dew points come down, and by Thursday and Friday, we're moving into the pleasant category when it comes to the humidity, but the air temperature close to 100 both Thursday and Friday, so it is a trade-off. Dew points try to rebound a little bit this weekend before dropping off again early next week with a frontal boundary. Here's the scene across the country, and there's just not a lot going on. We do have some monsoonal rains out across the west, but nothing here across Texas. And as we take you down to Fiona, of course, a major hurricane now, winds at 115 miles per hour, gusting to 140, just starting to brush the Turks and Caicos here, and likely will bring some pretty strong winds to those islands before surging north and strengthening even more to a Category 4 storm. Winds could go as high as 140 miles per hour, and it will also scrape past Bermuda before heading north and weakening some by the weekend. Meantime, we've got Fiona, but a couple of other systems that we need to keep an eye on. This system here shows some promise as it moves into the Caribbean, about a 40% chance of development according to the Hurricane Center. And while we do have time to watch it, this is one I do think we need to keep an eye on because once it gets into the Caribbean, still some questions as to where it could go. We'll let you know. Meantime, high pressure stays in control by Friday. Look at these high temperatures across the state, 100 in Austin, 99 here in San Antonio. High pressure finally does move out of the way by Monday, allowing for that front to come through and drier and cooler air to start next week. 97 tomorrow, 99 Thursday, 99 on Friday, which, by the way, would tie a record. Still hot Saturday, still pretty hot Sunday, too. But we're pinning our hopes there on Monday with some breezy conditions and slightly cooler readings.
We sure hope so.
Yeah, we need
Please?
it.
Pretty please?
Hey, listen, I think we deserve it after this summer.
I agree.
We do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin. 6:51, 76 degrees.
And the National Suicide Prevention Hotline continues to offer callers quick access to mental health counselors. Tomorrow on GMSA, why some states are paying more for the services than others and how that may impact the service.
Starting your Tuesday with us right here on Good Morning San Antonio. And there is a really good look at your Tuesday morning sunrise. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, we'll start with what is now Cat 3 Fiona. The hurricane and the first major hurricane of the season has moved just north of most of the Caribbean, going past the Turks and Caicos after devastating Puerto Rico and then parts of the Dominican Republic. I'm going to be tracking that, the proximity to both Bermuda and the mainland, because it'll sandwich kind of between. Also, Sherri Papini sentenced the moment that the California mom who faked her own kidnapping was confronted with the truth, and her husband found out it was all a hoax. We're going to have that and so much more coming up right here on Good Morning America.
All right, let's get a look here. Looks like better news at 35 at State Highway 46. Those flashing lights look like they've gone out, which means that it does appear the investigation is over, and we can see that vehicles are actually able to make their way through that intersection that had been closed for over an hour now. But we are still waiting for some details, so we'll watch the area closely. And the good news is no injuries were associated with this particular incident and no danger to the public. So some good news there. But seeing the slowdowns on the map here, Justin.
Stephen, thank you. We've got temperatures in the mid-70s right now, up around at 96 this afternoon. Heat index will be close to 100. We lose some of that humidity as we head towards the latter part of the work week, but those temperatures go up. 99 Thursday, 99 Friday, which could be a record. Still hot this weekend, but hopefully some relief next week.
Thanks for the heads up.
Sure hope so. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you back here at 9.
Good Morning America is next.